Jeff Jazeski, Craig Turnbull here on the SAC Digital Network as we get ready for today's matchups. This the first of 4 semifinals here in Rock Hill. Set to be a great day for soccer, a beautiful day outside, and 2 very talented teams to get us underway here.
Absolutely, and Jeff, thank you for letting me join you today. This first matchup of the tournament is going to be a fabulous matchup. 2 very talented teams, 2 very technically skilled teams, and 2 very experienced coaches who know how to make tactical changes. So I'm really looking forward to this one.
On one side, the defending national champion Bulldogs. On the other side, a Lincoln Memorial team right now currently 6th in the Southeast region in terms of trying to make the region tournament after this SAC tournament comes to a close. They'll need a big win here this afternoon to help their claim.
Yeah, I think either team here in this situation, obviously you want to win, you want to advance, you want to get to the finals, but certainly national implications from a bid standpoint. A lot to play for in this match.
There's Pablo O'Hara, the Wingate goalkeeper, on one side. On the other side, it's Caleb Cothran, the first-year full-time starter, and he's taken on a big role in net for a 10-3-3 Lincoln Memorial team, and he's been solid so far this year, making his 12th start. He's saved nearly 80% of his shots here in 2017.
He's certainly having a fabulous year in the net, but as you look across the field right now, just the amount of talent on the field in multiple positions, there's not a weak spot in any one of these 22 players.
It'll be Victor Perez and Felipe de Souza inside the circle at midfield to get us underway in our first semifinal of the day between Lincoln Memorial and Wingate. Wingate, a team with plenty of offensive firepower that we've seen throughout this season. 40 goals on the year, led the league, 2.36 goals per game. The defense is also a strong point. They led the league in goals allowed average, allowing just 6 goals in conference. And they were able to shut out this Lincoln Memorial team that has some offensive firepower as well, especially with De Silva at the head.
Yeah, as I mentioned in pregame there, the defense for Wingate is so strong. Coach Hamill's done a great job with just keeping them organized. Very disciplined defense, work well for each other, and communicate very well for each other, with each other.
The throw-in is deflected out. It'll be a throw-in going the other way. Mateo Correa will take it for the Bulldogs, looking to get Elma in 4 with the throw, and it's booted back down the other way for Lincoln Memorial and cleared by Gauna. The feeling out process here in the early minutes continuing as Lincoln Memorial trying to find the feet of Danilo de Silva, and they'll try to do that all match long. The defense of Wingate will be focused on number 10 as Felipe Checo plays a great through ball for Cuts, and he's able to draw a foul.
Might have been a situation we could have let advantage play a little bit there, but the referees decided to call that back. Very quick whistle, obviously wanting to put a stamp on the game early, keep things under control, but it would have been interesting had that been played on.
Kevin Broadley, the head official for this first matchup. He'll be joined by Rick Rogers, Eric Barnes, and Derek Ambrositis. As the first whistle of the match, a free kick for Checo and the Bulldogs. Checo, the redshirt senior, his first year in Bulldog action was with the team a year ago, and he sends that one long, a little miscue early on the set piece.
A little bit of jitters maybe from each team here and there. As you said, you took the words out of my mouth earlier, the feeling out process, certainly these first couple minutes, trying to find poke and prod a little bit, see where some gaps are, some areas to exploit.
And obviously plenty of familiarity with these teams, conference opponents already playing once earlier this year. But as the season goes on, roles change, players change, and it's not the same team you can expect from game to game.
Most definitely. It's always tough to play that team a second time and maybe even a third time in some situations.
Be a throw-in for Lincoln Memorial on their attacking half. And off the head of Perez. Gauna on the defensive end stops the attack. Now De Souza will flip one over towards De Silva. And the danger man, Danilo de Silva, played back. Rezic's shot blocked. And Di Tommaso able to get the body in front of that rocket attempt from the midfielder, Henrique Rezic.
Nice first opportunity of the match there for Lincoln Memorial. Nice layback from De Silva, sorry.
The captain, will be a strong part in the midfield for Lincoln Memorial as they look long for Zanoni. And Gauna's the first one back to it. And Damian Gauna, the senior leader of this defense, a third-team All-American a year ago, certainly has the talent and the organizational ability in the back of this Wingate defense. Tries to keep it to himself now. Here's a chance for Lincoln Memorial. Perez going to take a shot. Pablo Hara gets a piece of it.
Good early save there from Hara. Challenged. He had it covered pretty well, but as a goalkeeper, you sometimes want that first touch. Don't necessarily want to be too challenged with it, but handled it very well in the net, very calmly. Bad giveaway here on this near right side. This center back.
They'll set up a Lincoln Memorial corner here, their first of the match. It'll be De Silva to take it for the Rail Splitters. And it's whipped in, looking back post off the head and right into the body of Hara. Well-placed cross. And Hara able to read it off the head of Perez. Two good chances there for Lincoln Memorial.
I still like the fact that Wingate has chosen to play short out of the back, kind of calm the game down a little bit, even though they're under a little bit of pressure. Sometimes you see maybe younger or less experienced players panic and just want to launch the ball long. No worries. We'll just work out of the back.
Trying to lob one up 4-4 and sends it too long. Big boot from Cothran, headed back by Gauna. And now kept up alive for Perez and the Rail Splitters. They've been dangerous here in the first 5+.
A big long punt there from Cothran. You're probably not going to win the first ball, but it stretches the defense and allows Lincoln Memorial then to pick up the seconds and the loose things in the middle of the field.
Rail Splitter throw in. It'll be another one deflected away by Wingate. No, it'll say last touched by Lincoln Memorial. Sent back the other way. And Mateo Correa, the senior midfielder, will throw up towards midfield. Nate Evans will flick one back and try to get Elma in 4. The dangerous senior from Yaoundé, Cameroon, involved. And Elma in 4, a player that has dealt with some fitness issues this year, appeared in 9 games for the Bulldogs. 6 goals, 4 assists, a total of 16 points in those 9 games on just 16 shots. So when they're able to get him involved in the box, he's dangerous. But here comes Lincoln Memorial again. De Silva has plenty of space. De Silva just sends it wide, trying to clip it over Hara.
Actually, De Silva very surprised that he missed, or I'm very surprised that he missed that shot. He got Hara on the ground with just a simple little feint, and had the easy part to do is just roll it in the net, or a small little chip in, and just scuffed it.
De Silva, 12 goals, 7 assists on the year. That's not one he misses very often, and it's not often you catch Pablo Hara like he just did.
Lincoln Memorial's done a decent job of playing a bit of a longer ball from the midfield in behind the back line into some gaps of Wingate's defense. So certainly Wingate needs to tighten up a little bit in the center back spot.
What did you say though, RB? Copy. Booted down long again by Lincoln Memorial. Perez chasing, as well as Rob Tomlin for Wingate. And the flag goes up and back the other way it'll go. Tomlin, a sophomore, has been a big piece, a big addition to this back 4 for Wingate. He started the year as a defensive mid and was immediately transitioned back into the traditional center back role, where he has thrived here in 2017. De Silva. One touch, gets it back. D'Souza couldn't handle it. And now Tomlin comes up and he'll find Oscar Perez. And a big defensive play by D'Souza. Now Perez on the wing will take it one-on-one with Mateo Correa. And a foul called. Lincoln Memorial riding a 3-game winning streak coming into today, defeating Mars Hill 3-1 in their quarterfinal matchup. They were able to avenge a 1-0 loss to that same Mars Hill team back on October 18th. And they went down early again in that one. We're trailing 1-0, and then Lincoln Memorial's offense showed what we know Lincoln Memorial's offense can do, ripping off 3 straight goals and making easy work of the Lions. Good attacking chance here for Wingate, and 4. Feints left, he'll send it to the outside. And well defended on the back end by the Rail Splitters.
Certainly a nice run into the box with the ball, but also, as you said, well defended.
Nate Evans lost it trying to get past the second defender. De Silva got a step on Gaona. And now the seniors go to battle as De Silva will try to cradle it by the goal line, back out. Finds Rezic into the middle. D'Souza lets one rip, and just over the crossbar it goes.
Great effort. You know, De Silva is such an interesting player because it never really looks like he's running very fast, but his change of pace and his acceleration in one step is absolutely amazing. And
also his ability to keep the ball, even when defenders get a piece of it, it always somehow ends up back on his feet.
I'm sure we'll see him later in the match, but John Ander for Wingate is a similar player to that. It seems like the ball is always on his foot, even with 3-4 players bouncing into him. It stays on that foot. So.
Sometimes look like a blur, just constantly stepping over, making defenders miss. You go past 3 guys like nothing.
Yeah. Very exciting to watch those players play.
And sometimes just looks like they're playing a different game than everybody else. Nate Evans trying to turn the corner. Evans trying to fight off another defender. And last touched by Evans, a goal kick for the Rail Splitters.
Evans certainly fairly active in this game early on. You know, I think Wingate might need to switch it around a little bit, maybe attack this right side some, free up some space, and then put Evans right back in again.
Nate Evans, the junior from Greenville, North Carolina, making his 14th start of the year. Doesn't have any points on the year in that forward spot, but does provide a ton of speed on the wing. He'll see some time in the first and second halves. He's usually one of the first subs to come off for Wingate once they get John Ander out there on the pitch, but certainly a pacey player that provides a little bit different from what the other forwards on this Wingate team do. Checo for the Bulldogs nearly has it, or nearly takes it away, but it's Rezic who will send it to the outside for Diego Velasquez. He can't get there, and Wingate will have a throw in here on the near side. And we'll have a quick stoppage. Oscar Perez, number 6, the sophomore for the Bulldogs, reaching for his face, maybe some blood coming out.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened, but that certainly would be the suspicion. Athletic training staff dealing with the bloody nose or bloody lip possibly.
Perez, a senior from Alcaiz, Spain, scored his first career goal of the year early on against Bob Jones, and then added one in the quarterfinal win over Newberry to put the capper on that victory. Starting his 4th game of the year, a player that has provided a different spark in the midfield for Wingate as he will head over to the sideline, and David Fairgrieve will come in his replacement. Fairgrieve will get his first touch and chip it forward towards Elma and 4. Now Di Tommaso, the conference freshman of the year, battling. It comes back to Gaona at midfield. Chips it around to defender, now just toying with his man Felipe De Souza before Wingate will ultimately play it back to the talented junior Pablo Jara. Great header forward looking for Cuts. Cuts gets knocked down to the pitch, and he will draw the foul for Wingate. It'll be called on Ronaldo de Jesus. A little bit of a late whistle there for Broadley and this crew, but nonetheless, it'll result in a free kick here, and we'll see if Wingate can't put forth a better effort than the first one.
Yeah, just players need to get on the same page. As you said, on this one, the first one just a little bit overhit, maybe not quite the run to the far post. I would imagine this one is going to be swung in right in front of the keeper and challenge him in the 6-yard, 8-yard box area.
The red shirt senior Checo will take it, the Brazilian, as he waits for his teammates to get set in the box, looking for that far post again, and headed back out of the box by Lincoln Memorial, but still with the Bulldogs. And Fairgrieve, good idea. He'll go out wide to Checo. Another cross, and that'll draw a corner for the Bulldogs.
Although Wingate hasn't really seemed to settle into this match at this current moment, they are getting some restarts, corner kicks and set pieces. So, that's a positive sign. Sometimes you don't win games in the run of play, you win them on the specialty types of situations.
Checo looking near post, headed out. And De Silva now will get a touch and flick it for Velasquez. Velasquez wants it long. And Gaon able to stick that boot out and get it back to Di Tommaso at midfield. Here comes in 4, chipped forward. He wants Di Tommaso. Di Tommaso applying pressure. He'll force a corner as it's conceded by De Jesus again.
De Jesus there didn't have really many options other than just to play it over the end line. You certainly see a player try to swivel their body and kind of hook it out of bounds up the touchline a bit, but definitely the smart decision in that situation.
Checo will stroll over to the near corner this time. And the incoming corner, looking back post. Popped back up and just wide left of the net. It'll say last touched by the Bulldogs. Goal kick for LMU.
Contrasting styles here. Wingate, a team that wants to play out of the back a little bit, keep it on the ground. Lincoln Memorial, not really having much of it. They want to condense things here on these goal kicks and try to create a little space off the, as I said before, off the seconds once winning the ball.
Evans couldn't control the pass. And into the middle it goes for Rezic. Now crossing the field over for Velasquez and popped up near Perez. He goes down. And the foul is called on Di Tommaso. Victor Perez, the 6-foot junior, a second-teamer in the conference a year ago with 9 goals and 5 assists. He has 5 goals, 3 assists on the year here in 2017. Another throw for the Rail Splitters in the attacking third. Looking out towards who else but De Silva. And played back now across midfield. And back to Cothran, the keeper. And offside.
I don't know that the front line there for Lincoln Memorial was expecting that ball to come long. I think they were taking their time, catching their breath a little bit, and ball came and certainly caught them all.
Munoz trying to find Cuts, gives it back to the Rail Splitters, but he'll win possession back, but it's off him across the touchline, and the throw in for Diego Velasquez. Off the chest of De Silva. One touch back to Rezic. Now Rezek's got some space. Good through ball. Perez didn't complete the run. And the pairing just not on the same page there, and what looked like it was a good idea into space by Henrique Rezek.
I don't know that Perez would have got on the end of that particular ball, but certainly a good ball and a good thought, just as you said, not on the same page.
Hara will send the goal kick just across midfield. Munoz headed forward. And a foul called as Elliot Cutts goes to the ground. We'll get a clock stoppage as well as Christoph Willemsen comes up and clipped Cutts while he was trying to go up and flick that one forward. And a yellow card is handed out. Willemsen, the first booking of the afternoon.
Definitely a high foot, no doubt about that whatsoever. Both players going up, but certainly more dangerous situation with Lincoln Memorial's player getting the higher foot in that scenario.
Free kick for Checo and the Bulldogs after Willemsen's booking. And the cross is whipped in, and Cothran will come out to get it.
Very confidently coming out to grab that. Again, as a coach, as a field player, you love seeing your goalkeeper step up and say, hey, boys, I got this. No problem. Get out of the way.
Cothran, good size at 6'3", the junior from Lubbock, Texas. And the only Wingate player in that region was Elma in 4, and Cothran's going to win that battle 9 times out of 10. Fairgrieve couldn't control it in the midfield. Now Zanoni wants it back the other way, and Rob Tomlin there on the defensive end. Tomlin once more on the wing, looking for Nate Evans. Evans trying to turn the corner, shielding a defender, and it's taken away. Nearly kept his balance with one knee on the ground. But Cothran will have a chance to send it long. LMU ball. D'Souza working on Fairgrieve, long cross, offside. Zanoni not buying it, but that looked pretty obvious from here.
Great ball, great recognition, and unfortunately just probably 2 steps offside, step and a half, 2 steps off.
Saw those 2 shots on goal by Lincoln Memorial very early, both coming from Victor Perez. One a diving save and the other one off a header right into the chest of Hara. But over the last 10-15 minutes, neither team has been able to create much in the way of offensive chances. And handball on David Fairgrieve.
I think N4 is a player that's going to need to get the ball at his feet a little bit more, give some space for the Wingate players to run off, little flick-ons and knockdowns, those types of things. But N4, he's been active, but not all that involved currently. And maybe that's full credit to Lincoln Memorial's back line, taking the dangerous player out of the game at this current moment.
You saw on that free kick, Lincoln Memorial was trying to catch Pablo Hara, not paying attention out of his line, just looking for the deep ball right at the net, but not really all that close was the shot attempt from beyond midfield. But LMU will regain possession here. Velasquez will find the feet of D'Souza. Deflected over to Rezek. Good slide tackle by Di Tommaso, but Rezek able to keep it to his feet before the giveaway, and a late foul comes in inside the circle, and Rezek will draw it on Fairgrieve to set up a free kick for LMU.
I think there's a foul there, but certainly the Lincoln Memorial player did a nice job of drawing contact after the ball was played, kind of running up the back of the Wingate defender and maybe making it look a little worse than it was. Get a good look here.
Just kind of stopping and allowing himself to be sandwiched in between Fairgrieve and Di Tommaso. Rezic will just play it short, but it's through the legs of D'Souza and a giveaway. Correa with some speed, good slide tackle, but he's unable to keep it on the inside of the touchline. Long throw headed by the 6'4" sophomore Tomlin, and still unable to find the feet of Elma in 4. Gaona will whip it to the outside, across field for Evans. Di Tommaso couldn't get the touchdown. Now it's Rezic. Lob ball the other way. Perez has a step on Munoz. Victor Perez, the junior, one step inside the box, has a one-on-one. And Perez still down after that one-on-one with Munoz. Didn't get the call he wanted. D'Souza, another chip forward. He's got De Silva. Perez trying to clear back offside. De Silva still creating and can't find his man inside the box.
I'm actually still trying to mentally replay if there was contact in the box or not earlier on. It seems to, it seems to be struggling a little bit. Yeah, he's going down to the ground now.
It looked like to me in live action that Munoz got a piece of his ankle.
Kind of on the foot, it looks like, doesn't it? Ankle, foot. There's definitely some contact there. I almost wonder if the extra simulation made the referee think, there's nothing there, but certainly a little bit of contact.
And Perez will get the whistle as he's still down. Hara will come up and give him a pat on the back. Good sportsmanship shown by the junior keeper. A player that received the National Sportsmanship Award, just showed you why right there.
Absolutely.
Been countless plays throughout Hara's career, teammates celebrating around him, and he's the first to console the opposing team.
Nice element in all of sport that maybe goes unrecognized sometimes. So certainly a great award for a great player and a great person with good character.
Perez will be helped off the field, and a sub will come on for him. And Andres Prado. Prado, a 5'9" senior from Argentina. Pair of goals on the year, 4 assists as well. He'll try to replace Victor Perez's ability, as he was a strong player here in the first 25 minutes. Rezic in the midfield. Zanoni tries to flip it forward to himself past Correa, and a foul will be called on Rob Tomlin. Broadley will have a quick chat with Tomlin as he stops the clock quickly. And Tomlin just getting a piece of the midsection of Zanoni. Will set up a free kick here for the Lincoln Memorial Rail Splitters. Still no score between these two teams, the 1 versus the 4 here in the SAC semifinal. Cross whipped in. Ball still loose inside the box, ping-ponging around and sent back out. And that ball clipped forward by John Ander, trying to find Checo into space. And Tomlin will leave one up high in the air in 4. Missed clearance. Here comes John Ander. Ander somehow keeps the ball at his feet and deflected away, and Cawthron able to scoop it up just before it crosses the goal line.
Zanoni there defensively really tried to send the ball very long, but honestly just need to put a foot on it and send it upfield a little bit. Almost cost a goal and certainly a Wingate celebration.
DiTomaso will play it back for his keeper. And again, Wingate looking to build from the back. Whipped outside for Correa. And Correa looks up for DiTomaso, the freshman of the year. And 4. Just a step too far for Felipe Checo.
One of the few touches 4 and 4, but you see the talent that he has. He gets the ball one time out of, in 15 minutes and puts a great ball forward, just missing.
Correa, the throw-in, wants in 4. And another few yards up the field and another throw-in for Wingate. Continuing to press up further and further on this Lincoln Memorial defense. Can they find an opportunity here? Checo back to the outside, still kept alive, and then taken down to the turf. With the whistle is Mateo Correa, and a free kick in a dangerous spot for the Bulldogs.
Wingate certainly knocking on the door with these restarts. They've consistently gotten closer and closer and closer to putting one in the back of the net.
Checo whips one in off of Baeta and cleared back by Prado. Now it's clipped forward. DiTomaso tries to run onto it, and LMU stands tall again. Once more, the lob ball off of Cuts. Back 2 and 4, and popped up sky high. Back towards Damian Gauna. And finally falling to the feet of Prado. LMU still looking for that long ball, trying to free up space for De Silva. And so is Wingate here looking for Cuts.
Both almost playing in a modified counterattack style, stretching the field the best they can, but as soon as they win it, looking for that big penetrating ball or big diagonal ball to the opposite side.
Throw in for Velasquez. He's going to get some behind it, looking towards Prado. Flicked back towards midfield and chipped forward by Vicho Munoz. And 4, got the head onto it. Ander trying to come flying through, cannot. Now it's Rezic. Velasquez. To Prado on the wing. Prado inside, finds D'Souza. And Pablo Jara able to dive onto it before De Silva can sneak in there.
Very well read by Jara, coming out as soon as that ball's played in without hesitation. First step, very strong, almost causes the attacking player to recognize, okay, I'm bailing, I'm going to jump over.
LMU throw in, looking to go fast. De Silva. Past 1 defender, now 2. Gets the pass off into space. Prado. Turns back inside. Prado clearing space, and Prado's shot saved by Pablo Jara.
Another very strong save. Not only parried it, but got a hand out and a strong hand out, not leaving it in front of the goal. A lot of times you might see a goalkeeper just put a hand out and taps it 2 yards. Did a very nice job of almost open hand punching it to clear the danger area.
Cuts past a few defenders. Cuts working through the midfield. Now out to Ander. And 2 and 4. Back to Ander.
Open, open, open.
Now it's Checo in the middle. And 4 trying to make that turn, and he's fouled.
I would imagine John Ander is probably going to have a go. Very talented on the free kicks.
And Ander has put the ball right on the money multiple times this year and has just been unlucky. He's hit the crossbar 3 times. He's been posted once as well. And his numbers with 5 goals, 4 assists could look even better if a couple of breaks went his way. He'll stand with Checo, and Checo will concede as the senior from Bilbao, Spain, the former All-American, will try to go under the wall, and it's popped up in the air. Back to Ander. Can't find a man, and it's De Silva to get ahead on it, and finally cleared out to the outside and looking towards Andres Prado. And well defended by Damian Gaona. Now Prado sends a through ball in. And a good read again by Hara. Just too much mustard on that one, trying to find Diego Zanoni. And 4. Look at that footwork by the senior. He finds Cuts. Play on. And Cuts pushed to the ground late, no whistle. And can't believe the ref was unable to see that, looking right at him.
I wouldn't call it chippy at this point, but certainly the intensity has picked up a bit.
13:35 to play here in the first half. Still no score between Wingate and LMU. It took till double overtime in the first matchup between these two for the first goal to be scored, and it was Cuts' game winner. And you take another look at this. Cuts initially goes down over the ball, trying to get up, and Velasquez just sends him right down to the turf here at Manchester Meadows. Prado. Now Machado in the midfield, back to the captain, Rezic. And Rezic sees his man Velasquez wide open here on the wing. Munoz tracking back, able to catch up. And he's able to stop Diego Velasquez from moving any further. But now it's De Souza. Working on the former All-American Gaona. Rezic looks up off the chest of Fairgrieve. Now Cuts trying to start the counter for the Bulldogs, and he'll earn a throw in. We'll take a look back. This great save by Pablo Hara. Prado able to create some space, and as you said, Hara able to realize where he's at and just open hand punch that ball out to space where he can go and retrieve it.
And the neat thing as well, as you see that replay, as he's open hand saving it, he's instantly getting up as well. He knows exactly where he's going to put that ball and exactly what he needs to do, what step he needs to take next in order to get on it quickly.
Go back to basketball, big man.
Diego Velasquez will sub off for Lincoln Memorial. So bring a fresh body out here with 11:55 to play. Andreas Xenofontos will take his spot. And a foul called on Wingate. Rezic looking for Prado. Here comes Prado, and that'll go over the net. And an uninspired effort there by the senior Argentinian.
And even if that ball had gone into the box, Lincoln Memorial not doing a great job of getting anybody in the box to maybe deal with it, but certainly a mishit.
The whistle back into play as Hara will look out to the left side for Mateo Correa. Stuart Hendry just into the game for Wingate will get his first touch, and he'll earn a throw in on the far side for the Bulldogs. As we near 10 minutes to play here, first half of action, first semifinal of the day. Checo looking for the back heel, Munoz. And now Xenofontos gives it back. Checo 4-4. Back to Munoz, and now cuts. Munoz, the cross comes in off the fingertips of Cothran, and he recovers. Hendry finds John Ander. Ander doing 4 now, looking back for Ander, but he was down on the turf. Slide tackle for Fairgrieve, and no foul was called there on John Ander. As now it's Prado back to Rezick. Popped up sky high. The battle for the header. Zanoni wins it, but it goes across the touchline and a Wingate throw-in just across midfield.
One thing I'm noticing defensively, Wingate, Munoz seems to be pinching in a little bit too far for my liking, actually. And early in the match, we saw a lot of opportunity on the left flank for Lincoln Memorial.
A lot of space for Munoz. He finds Checo, but Checo couldn't handle the touch. Zanoni wins the header, but again, it's a Wingate throw-in. Throw-in towards N4, trying to turn to the inside. He's been given trouble by this LMU defense, but N4 will create his own space and taken down from behind. But no, he'll say he touched the ball first. The slide tackle on the defensive end as Elma N4 finally broke into some open space.
Couple spin moves and one hard step, and he was gone.
And now we'll see if Wingate can create anything off of that. Cuts. Up to Checo. Back to Munoz. And the cross goes nowhere fast. And it will end up with Caleb Cothran. And another look at the space that Elma is able to create here. Just the crafty footwork. Thought he had it here, and then that late slide tackle from behind. Just able to get foot on ball before Elma N4 was able to tee one up from just inside the box.
Some of the Wingate fans sitting near our location, I was about to say the same thing. You know, Wingate a little bit slow in the back as far as pinging the ball around, trying to find gaps. If they take that one less touch possibly, or a little cleaner touch, they'll have some more success going forward.
Ander can't find a hole through the LMU defense, and it's back to Henry Grezik. De Silva hasn't seen much space since the first 5 to 10 minutes of this match, and he won't find it there. Ander wanted a through ball. Saw an opening. Hendry didn't see it, though, and Wingate will end up giving it away. Diego Zanoni will throw in. Booted forward, and Fairgrieve will come up for the first touch, but D'Souza wins it back for LMU, but not for long. And 4. Settles, finds Checo in the midfield. Now to the outside for Elliott Cuts. Cuts. His cross headed away. Gaona comes up. Now Cuts again. And the senior defender finds the senior midfielder, Fairgrieve. Now he'll flip the field. Just over 6 to play here in the first half. No score. Bulldogs and Rail Splitters, the 1 versus 4 matchup here in the semifinal. And Zanoni able to win the header once more. And throw in LMU. Set or 12 players, Craig, in this match received some sort of all-SAC distinction. 7 from the Bulldogs, 5 from Lincoln Memorial. So plenty of talent out on the field. And it's shown to a pretty even matchup here through the first 40 minutes.
One team's talent has neutralized the other team's talent to some degree.
Tangled up there were Gaona and Miguel Rice, the freshman forward, and Rice will be the one whistled for the foul.
Be louder, man, be louder. Won the ball.
And here you take another look.
Good, strong, sturdy defending as a center back. That's what you want. Be able to body a little bit when you need to, but also be smart and recognize when you've been bodied a little bit too much and kind of go down with the contact.
Just 3 shots on goal to this point, all 3 coming from Lincoln Memorial, all 3 saved by Pablo Jara. Checo looking to thread that one through. Now it's in 4, off the rebound, and 4 lets one rip, and that one will sail into the parking lot.
I think N4 heard that Wingate hadn't had a shot yet, so he wanted to put at least one in the stat column, right? Not a bad idea. I mean, it's a quality go, just unfortunately didn't catch it the way he wanted to.
Wingate at the beginning of the year picked first in the SAC preseason poll, and rightfully so, coming off a national championship. Finished where they were predicted, in first place to win their 4th straight regular season title, and looking to win their first tournament title since 2015 after losing in the quarterfinal last year to Brevard. Funny enough, their only loss of the year comes to the 8th seed in the conference tournament, a team that is no longer in the SAC or a Division II school.
I believe it was Brevard's very last Division II match as well, or at least South Atlantic Conference match.
Cuts. Plays one through. Back out. Munoz looking for a cross in.
Yeah, Brevard's regular season final match in the South Atlantic Conference. Quarters. Apologies.
And we saw them here last year make a heck of an effort against this Lincoln Memorial team. Played to a 2-2 draw. Probably should have won that game in regulation. But Lincoln Memorial was too strong in penalty kicks, defeating Brevard to advance to the championship round, where they fell in double overtime to Tusculum. But what a run that could have been, and almost what a miracle it was, as they were in the 88th minute just unable to put a ball wide open in front of the net home. Lincoln Memorial was very lucky to come out of that and advance to the championship round. John Ander getting some treatment on the sideline. Looked like a cut above his left eye. That ball played in and nearly chipped on towards goal.
I really like that idea on the corner as well, to play hard to the near pole. A little bit of a change from what Wingate had been doing earlier in the match.
Fairgrieve gets it up towards Cuts. Cuts around a defender. Elliott Cuts now into the box. Working towards the goal line. Chipped up. Deflection. And then 4 was in position for it. Now it's Correa. Sent back in, and 4 goes up. Punched away by Cothran. Checo. Second effort. Jose Ojeda now gets a piece of it, still fighting around in the box and blocked once more. And you can see the frustration showing from the Wingate offense there. 4 chances inside the box.
What a sequence. And it all started. N4 about got the header. I didn't think he'd be able to get up that high. Thought Cawthron was going to deal with it pretty easily, but N4 made it challenging.
And the result at the end of it, a foul on Wingate and a free kick for Lincoln Memorial. And Elliott Cutts slowly making his way back. A slight limp, as you saw after his attempt, sort of punched the ground in frustration and probably a little hurt there as well.
Go on, Elliot, run!
A foul called on D'Souza and a stoppage as well.
Ref, dangerous play! What do you mean, ref? Get him off! You gotta protect the players!
Checo still down on the outside the touchline as Broadley still having a conversation with Felipe D'Souza. And he will be booked with a yellow card. Just coming studs up, kicking Checo right in the side.
You're a drug ref, man. Protect the players. You need some balls. You've lost this game already, ref. Come on.
Trying to put myself in the referee's shoes there. You know, certainly made an attempt at the ball, but as the ball was missed, the foot continued to come up, which I certainly have a problem with. Certainly a yellow, but as a lot of the fans are yelling it might honestly have been a red.
And still some chirping in the midfield. Checo making sure his voice is heard towards D'Souza as a minute is left to play here in the first half of action. Cutts trying to spark something here. Cutts looking back post. And Hendry can't track it down. It'll go back to the rail splitters.
I would think Lincoln Memorial here is just wanting to see the clock out. They've been under quite a bit of pressure here these last probably 12, 15 minutes solid, and need to just see this half out and talk about it in the locker room a little bit.
They came out guns blazing. In that first 10 minutes, they spent a lot of time in the attacking third, putting a couple of balls towards Pablo Jara, making the Wingate defense's life difficult, but haven't been able to find that same success. Cutts puts a shot down, and it's easily recovered by Cawthron. And that'll about do it for the first half of action in this 1 versus 4 semifinal. 45 minutes down, no score between these two teams. Final thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, I think, you know, I'm trying to put myself in the coach's shoes here, locker room talk. I think Wingate needs to continue doing what they've now been doing. I think N4's got a lot more touches. Hopefully Ander gets a chance to step back on. But Wingate needs to be careful of the counter because Lincoln Memorial is very capable of breaking out quickly and catching a team that's pressed forward.
So the 1 versus 4 matchup will go scoreless through the first 45 minutes. A total of 4 shots on goal between these two teams. 3 coming from Lincoln Memorial, just that late one from Elliott Cutts for the Wingate Bulldogs. An entertaining second half coming up for sure. Again, the last time these two teams met, no score through the first 90 minutes. We'll see if overtime is the fate here in Rock Hill in this semifinal matchup. We'll step away at halftime here on the SAC Digital Network. No score between the Bulldogs and the Rail Splitters. Welcome back here in Manchester Meadows, Rock Hill, South Carolina. Halftime between the Bulldogs and the Rail Splitters here on the SAC Digital Network. Jeff Jazeski, Craig Turnbull, as we get ready for the second half. Craig, a scoreless first half. Early on, it was Lincoln Memorial in the driver's seat. Late, it became the Bulldogs. What do you expect to see here in the second half?
I would think Lincoln Memorial's got to look to get the De Silva-De Souza combination going a little bit again. Lost that maybe after the first 10-15 minutes of the match. And for Wingate, I think they've done a better job. They're holding on a little bit of a higher line defensively, winning more balls in the middle of the field and looking to poke and prod. Still favoring the left side of the field, but seem to be the more dangerous team in the latter stages of the first half.
LMU out shooting Wingate 6-4 on the half, 3-1 in shots on goal. 3 corners for the Bulldogs, 1 for the Rail Splitters. Lincoln Memorial was called offside 4 times, and 15 fouls called in the first half with 2 yellow cards to Lincoln Memorial. Both De Souza and Christoph Willemsen picking up yellow cards, and Craig, both of them really had a chance to be reds.
I think certainly the second one probably was the more bookable or send-offable offense, but you know, it's tough as a referee. You certainly don't want to have a massive impact on the game and change something, but if it's a blatant foul, it's a blatant foul and it must be called.
Wind starting to pick up here in Rock Hill as we're about to get the second half underway between the Bulldogs and the Rail Splitters. We'll see which team can get their offense going first here in the half. De Souza will quickly look up the field trying to find Felipe Machado. And Mateo Correa, the first one to get back for Wingate's defense. There will be a throw in the attacking third for Machado, and the Rail Splitters looking towards the goal line. He finds his man. It's Perez, now back out to Machado. The offside flag went up on De Souza, and Wingate will have a free kick here early on in the second half.
Just scanning the field, looking for any noticeable, obvious changes as far as formation or shape, but really not noticing much at this point.
Four trying to track it down into the box, and that one will go across the line for a goal kick. What's the password? And Caleb Cothran will boot it deep. DiTomaso gets the first head on it, and now bombed forward towards Pablo Haro by Christoph Willemsen. And now it's settled by Mateo Correa, out to Cuts, now back for Tomlin. Now it's Gaona. And a whistle on the far side of the pitch and a foul called on Henrik Rezic. And 4 trying to flick over the defender's head. Now Vicho Munoz tracking down. He sends it into the box. And he can't get it past Christoph Willemsen.
Munoz did a nice job of getting that ball even into the box. I didn't think he'd get much on it.
Checo rips one through and was unable to connect, just trying to put that right on Elma and Four's run. Long throw in back the other way for Lincoln Memorial. David Fairgrieve comes up and is able to stop the LMU charge very quickly. Up next, we have the 7 versus the 6. Queens versus Anderson. That coming up at 1:30. Upsets in the quarterfinal here in the South Atlantic Conference Tournament. That should be an interesting game, and that'll be up next after this one comes to an end here. Still trying to sort through this one, all tied up 0-0. Neither offense has been able to get going. As in 4 now finds some space. He's got a man to his left, and he looks for him. It's Checo, but the LMU defense is there, but they'll concede the corner kick.
N4 did a nice job of battling. He was just basically running through that ball and knew support was coming and almost blindly played it, knowing where the run was coming, but Lincoln Memorial's defense collapsed very well and dealt with it, giving a corner.
And John Ander, you see sporting the blue headband as he was cut in the first half, looking near post, headed back out for another try. We'll see if the second chance is any stronger here from John Ander. Again looking near post, and again it's the head of Victor Perez. Perez using his body to shield off DiTomaso, and he'll draw the foul. And Greg, last year we had a similar scenario to what we have this year with the upsets in the quarterfinal matchups. Again, we already mentioned you had Brevard a year ago. You had a Coker team that was able to advance forward and bring those lower seeds into these semifinal matchups, something you don't always see in conference tournaments. But as you know, it doesn't matter what your record is in the regular season. If you get into that conference tournament, anything can happen, and that was proven a year ago and again this year with the 6-7 matchup coming later.
That's right, and as a lower seed, you talk to your team and say, hey, we don't have to beat every single team in the tournament. All we need to do is beat the next team that we play, and so sometimes the pressure's off and you just play relaxed and get results.
Zanoni has it taken back by Elliott Cutts. And now Correa's stripped. Machado pokes it forward, trying to find Zanoni, and Tomlin will clear it across the touchline. Machado, the junior from Brazil, will send a long throw in, center of the box, headed towards net, and just high. A great throw to put that one on the money.
Has the wind behind his back as well on the throw, so certainly maybe a couple extra more yards than you would anticipate. So, a good weapon to have in the arsenal, though.
Machado trying to run give and go with De Silva. And then back to Wingate. Correa sends it up towards N4, headed by Williamson. Now it's N4 again, looking to the middle, finds Checo. Checo wants Elliott Cutts. Cutts has a step. Elliott Cutts into the box. One touch, back towards the middle. Cutts still pulling back. Now looking for DiTomaso, and Cutts just couldn't pull the trigger.
Chose not to pull the trigger. He had 2 or 3 opportunities to probably pull the trigger, but looking for something, obviously, in his mind that a lot of other fans thought he should have been shooting.
And certainly the best opportunity of this half for Wingate, and maybe of the game, and just decided not to take the shot on goal. And they end up not even getting a shot out of it. D'Souza. D'Souza turning back to the inside. A couple of Wingate defenders now settling around D'Souza, and it'll be a throw in again for LMU here. Takeaway by DiTomaso. Starting the counter the other way, the freshman of the year tries to pull it back into the middle of the field. And it's taken away again, and another foul will be called on the freshman as DiTomaso takes down Rezic from behind.
Not a bad foul there, honestly, because tends to slow play a little bit, allows the defensive unit to get set back.
And take you back to a few moments ago. Elliot Cutts gets the ball from Checo. And it looks like he has plenty of time and space to pull the trigger right about there and just elects to look for a better option and then doesn't find one.
The more touches you take, the more defenders get back and are able to better position themselves. You know, initially on that ball lane, he didn't take the greatest of first touches, so which allowed the ball to drag behind him a slight little bit. Now seeing that on replay.
Here comes the attack from Lincoln Memorial into the box. Perez trying to send a cross in. D'Souza will earn the corner for Lincoln Memorial. And a quick ball played in, wanting to get the ball onto the feet of De Silva. But it's taken back by the Bulldogs. Slide tackle, Di Tommaso. Foul, Di Tommaso. And a stoppage. And the yellow card given to Mattia Di Tommaso, the first booking for the Bulldogs after 2 rail splitters were booked in the first half. And it's the captain, Henrique Rezic. Free kick here for LMU. Rezic will grab some water as he's able to get back up to his feet. And we'll see what the rail splitters can do with this opportunity. Now 10 minutes into this second half.
Lincoln Memorial might want to think about playing a shorter ball here, pulling Wingate out of their back line stance, and try to create a gap in behind on that second ball rather than initially on this first.
De Silva off the legs of John Ander, looking towards the top of the box. Ander up 4-4. Now finds Fairgrieve in the midfield.
It's late every time.
And as N4 was taken to the ground, we'll get another late whistle.
I said earlier in the first half the game wasn't getting chippy, it was just getting intense. Now I think both of those components are in the second half.
It'll be a free kick for Wingate after N4 draws the foul. Gaona will find Munoz. Now Munoz looks up for Di Tommaso. Fairgrieve able to win the ball back for Wingate. Turns back. And Gaona will send it to the outside for Correa. Strong first touch, flipped out for Cutts, finds N4. Now it's Ander. Di Tommaso looking for John Ander. Edge of the box. Ander now straddling the goal line, trying to take it in. And finally has it knocked away by Rezic. And a foul called on Lincoln Memorial. Another free kick in the attacking third here for Wingate.
Some of these fouls are more as a result of ungraceful defending more so than anything else. A little bit desperation maybe.
Both players coming in with the miss, and then Velasquez with the contact. It'll be Ander. Will he look for net, or will he try to find a teammate? With John Ander, you never do know.
He's got the quality to put this in, that's for sure. Or at least put it close for a nice header.
John Ander. Blocked by Zanoni. Blocked again, and Ander will finally send one in, but it's across the goal line. And a failed effort there by the senior.
A little frustration there. The last 2 corner kicks Anders taken has hit the first man on the post. Obviously he's looking short, but got to get it over the first man at least. And 1 or 2 restarts now that have hit the wall.
Oscar Perez will come back on for Wingate. Mattia Di Tommaso will go to the sideline, at least for the moment. Perez wins the header. Now Ander comes through, and it's flipped forward 4-4. Back heel, Ander. Splits a pair of defenders. Ander looking out for Checo, and Velasquez just able to get the back foot on it. Now Tomlin comes up. Good ball out to Checo. Checo's got space. Here comes Philippe Checo. Back to the middle. Past another defender. Ander blocked. And a clearance from Machado. Here comes Henry Grezik. Some contact behind him, a couple of players getting tangled up. And it looks to be Vicho Munoz down on the field.
I certainly saw the players go down, but I'm not sure what caused the contact actually. They might have just simply run into each other.
The Wingate athletic training staff coming out to tend to the senior. And Munoz now helped to his feet. Let's take another look. And that shoulder you see on the left side of your screen will go right into the jawbone of Vicho Munoz, and that's Victor Perez. And hard to tell there, but not entirely sure that that looked inadvertent.
Yeah, there was a little bit of intent there.
Perez down with an injury of his own as he limps off to the sideline. You made the observation in the first half that it was, as you said, getting more intense, but now I think you could say it's getting chippy.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that one. And it's not been much into the second half right now. We've been a long time to play, and you want players to keep a cool head. You don't want player to get sent off for something completely silly. If you're it's going to be a booking or a sending off, it should be because of the game, not because of something off the ball or chippy.
Perez and Munoz both allowed back in, and Caleb Cothran will have the ball here for Lincoln Memorial. LMU hoping to make their first trip to the NCAA tournament since 2007, currently number 6 in the Southeast Region poll. On their side, the fact that they are 3-1 against ranked teams in the region with wins over Young Harris, Lenore Rhine, and Lees McRae. Their lone Southeast Region loss coming to the Wingate Bulldogs. Gaona looking up for cuts. Wanted it back for Perez. And neither team has been all that crisp here in the second half.
Definitely not. It's almost tale of two halves, or at least tale of about 40 minutes or so.
Late whistle there on the far side. Fairgrieve down and punching the ground. He'll get back to his feet. And it'll be a Wingate free kick on the opposite side of midfield.
Towards the end of the first half, Wingate was able to unlock LMU's defense just by keeping possession, knocking the ball around a little bit. And right now, as the game's been not so well played here these first couple minutes of the second half, that's something that Wingate needs to reestablish, is the ability to control possession.
Cuts looking up 4-4 in the box, and 4 will look back. Now it's Ander. John Ander will take a crack at it, and wide right.
Great effort from Ander.
And the deflection will earn a Wingate corner.
Beat the first man.
Ander will whip it in. This time going back post, and 4 header still kept alive. Tomlin. And a foul called in the box on the Wingate Bulldogs.
Good ball swung into the far post this time, and for just missing on that header.
Tomlin gets a foot on it, chipped forward. Perez on the run, won't be able to beat Gaona there, and Hara will leave it off for Mateo Correa. Now it's Cuts. And Cuts can't find anybody. Machado, one-on-one with Correa, trying to leave it to the outside for Da Silva. He's been quiet since the first 5 or so minutes. Fairgrieve has Cuts on his left, and Fairgrieve pushed down from behind by Felipe Machado.
Breaking play now. Come on, it's a yellow card. Thank you. Thank you.
And Machado will earn a yellow card, the 3rd yellow given out to Lincoln Memorial, the 4th of the match.
Pretty obvious call there, no question about that. Slowing the Wingate transition down a little bit, and an obvious booking.
And a free kick for Checo. And Checo once again strikes it too strongly.
Wasted chance there.
Yellow cards in this match for Felipe Machado, Felipe De Souza, Christoph Williamson, and David Fairgrieve. Mentioned just a few moments ago that LMU trying to use this game to springboard their chances to making their first NCAA tournament since '07. That year they won the SAC tournament and went all the way to the national championship match before falling to Franklin Pierce in the national championship at 10 years ago, and hoping to make an anniversary trip back to the NCAAs. Wingate, on the other hand, certainly looking to return to defend their national title. Currently 4th in the Southeast region. A win here against another Southeast region opponent would certainly help.
Absolutely agree with that.
Ander to the outside for Munoz, and Munoz couldn't chase it down.
One thing I was going to mention earlier, Wingate should be complimented for having the target on their front, on their back, on their head, literally a target everywhere after winning a national championship, and still able to put the season together like they've done it. It's a very hard thing to do.
They came out slow right out of the gate, starting 1-2 on the year, dropping matches to Rollins and Shawan. But then able to pick things up, won 9 in a row at one point. lost a game to Limestone and have gone 6-1-1 since. A very tough week in which they had a man sent off in the 30th minute in a match against Catawba. Were able to play that one to a 0-0 draw, but then had to, come back on Saturday and play a very talented LR team. And they fell in that match and were really outclassed in that match by a very talented LR team. That was just the aggressor the entire match, so they went that week without a victory, but have responded well since.
Sometimes teams need those wake-up calls, and certainly you hope they're early season wake-up calls, but I think for this Wingate team, that Lenore-Ryan match was kind of the final wake-up call of the season, and I think they're moving towards form in this game. Again, still seem to be the more aggressive, maybe the slightly more polished team at this point.
And for LMU, a team that started off strong, didn't lose their first match until they played Wingate on September 30th, lost back-to-back with the loss to Wingate and then a loss to Carson Newman, as N4 into the box. Still fighting, and N4, no whistle. Thought he should have gotten a penalty, still down inside the box.
Wingate doing a nice job of protecting against the counter in what appeared to me to be a penalty, and I think most of the crowd here right now.
And for how this match has gone and for how it's been officiated, for there to be no penalty called there, very strange. And N4 back up on his feet will try to track this one down. Zanoni will send it out for a throw-in. Perez to Ander. Ander contact from behind. And back to LMU. Shot from distance. Can't connect on the target from De Silva.
Decent solo effort there from De Silva. Really didn't have much support and decided to go on his own and got an okay shot off. It wasn't certainly on target, but a decent opportunity.
Booted deep by Hara. And Munoz will look up for N4. And then one more look. Here is N4 gets a touch right there before he's clipped and taken down hard from behind.
The only way I see that's not a penalty if N4 knocks the ball a little further away where he's maybe not able to play the next touch, but he clearly could have taken another step and gotten on that ball.
Correa to the feet of N4, turns inside, loses it. And Machado will lob one up. Tries to find De Silva. De Souza still working up top. And a throw in for LMU. Long throw again from Machado. The header won by Damian Gaona for Wingate. Able to clear of any danger. Fairgrief and De Souza battling. It comes up with John Ander looking through. And N4 trying to dummy it and let it go through to Elliott Cutts, but it's taken back by LMU. Here comes De Silva, one-on-one with Tomlin. The senior De Silva. He's taken down in the box, no whistle.
think this is going to be a booking for simulation, would be my guess.
Every time they time and every time, Red! If you're going to stop the game, give him a card. Give him a card. That's good!
And there it is, the yellow card for De Silva.
15 will have one too. That's a 9.2.
De Silva, the leading scorer in the SAC this year. Trying to find space there and then trying to bait into the foul call in the box.
Let's go!
Not much in that for me, actually.
Ander looks up, 4 and 4. One-on-one with DeJesus. And Correa tries to head it forward. And it'll be a Wingate throw in for Mateo Correa. And 4 for Correa now. Oscar Perez. Tomlin. Now Munoz. Pressing forward are the Bulldogs. Cuts, now Fairgrieve. Perez again. Can't handle the initial touch, and it's a takeaway for Lincoln Memorial.
No fouls. Good, open.
And right back. And 4 to the inside. Elma and 4. Blocked by Cothran, and he'll dive on top of it.
Good save. Read N4's run and came out and met him. I thought N4 actually at the top of the box probably could have pulled the trigger. Instead, he took that last touch, which allowed Cothran to really read it and come out and close down.
And N4, though, finally able to create some space and get his first shot of the match. It's been a struggle for him. The eyes have been on him from this back 4 of Lincoln Memorial. We'll take one more look at it.
Here's where I think he maybe could have gotten something, but obviously he knows the angle and maybe there's a player in front of him. I think compare the first 20 minutes of the match to the first 25 minutes of the second half with N4. He's had a massive impact on the second half.
But still no score here between Wingate and Lincoln Memorial. Ander sails it. Lincoln Memorial hopeful that they can knock off the Bulldogs for the first time since 2011. A 2-0 victory for the Rail Splitters have gone winless in 7 tries since. First matchup this year, a double overtime thriller at Pride Park in Wingate, North Carolina. Checo calmly looks up, 4 and 4. A trio of defenders converge, and that's sort of been the game plan for the Rail Splitters here this afternoon.
That would have been a great freeze frame photo there of the 3 players surrounding N4. Shows the quality and the pace and the strength that he has. That teams have to do that.
Checo and Cuts working on the far side. Now Checo turns back in. Wants in 4. And 4 taken down, and a whistle is finally given to the Bulldogs inside the box.
I actually think that last foul was probably one of the softer of the fouls that N4's had to deal with, maybe in and around the box.
So what a turn of events here with under 18 to play here in the second half. And 4 still trying to shake off. Looks like he's holding his neck or the head area as he's been really hit a bunch here this afternoon.
Don't know that that was necessarily a foul. This one certainly, it's good contact, no question.
Just the shoulder or the elbow right into the back of the neck of LMU from Ronaldo De Jesus.
He got him with his body, and then obviously also, as you said, with that forearm up high.
So Enfor's helped off the field, but give him all the credit for battling and earning that penalty for this Bulldog team as they'll look to try to take the lead here with 17:46 remaining.
Anders an experienced enough player, but as the former coach, you know, you'd rather have this penalty kick taken quickly and not have a player walk around, think about it. But with an injury situation, you can't do anything but wait.
John Ander versus Caleb Cothran here. One-on-one, the penalty kick opportunity for the Bulldogs. Checo has taken the majority of the PKs for the Bulldogs this year, but it'll be Ander right now here in Rock Hill. Ander finishes, and the Bulldogs go up. And the senior, John Ander, slots the penalty kick, and Wingate takes a 1-goal lead.
Very calmly taken penalty there. Basically rolled it almost right up the middle of the goal.
A point to the sideline from the senior from Bilbao, Spain. And this is the part of the season where his play really ramps up. Goal number 6 on the year for John Ander. Had one in the quarterfinal match as well. And Cothran never had a chance, just too calm is the senior from Spain, John Ander. Adds the signature celebration as well. That's a guy that's never afraid to pull the trigger in John Ander.
Maybe the head wrapping that you mentioned it will be a new fashion statement for him through the rest of the tournament if Wingate advances.
Now Ander flipping sides. He gets some space now on the left. Back into the middle. Ander finds Enfor. Enfor has it knocked away though. Kept alive for Checo. And credit to Andres Prado and the LMU defense there as Ander was nearly able to start another chance for LMU.
Lincoln Memorial has really struggled this whole second half. I mean, again, you go back to the first 10 minutes of the start of the match where they seemed to be the very, very dominant team, very smooth, very much on the same page with each other. And since that point, their game's kind of fallen off as the minutes click by.
You go back to September 30th, the first meeting between these two teams. A defensive battle throughout. Then in the second overtime, a misplay by a defender allows Elliot Cutts to slip past him and score his 8th goal of the year to win it for the Bulldogs. This not exactly the same, but you get a misplay by a defender with the penalty. De Jesus the foul inside the box. And John Ander able to slot the PK to put Wingate up 1-0 here with 16:20 remaining.
Guyona did a wonderful job of covering their second man defense, just simply covering him behind the player in front of him, picking that ball off.
And the pace will certainly have to be picked up here, more frantic for Lincoln Memorial if they'll hope to try and find an equalizer here in the last 16 minutes.
Yeah, at some point, Lincoln Memorial is going to have to make a decision to maybe even push another man forward out of the midfield and almost play a 4-2-4 possibly and start really taking some chances, knowing that you're going to probably give something up in the back, but you've got to take chances with 15 left.
8 shots on the match for Lincoln Memorial, 3 shots on goal, all 3 of those coming in the first half. They've yet to put one on target here in the second 45. 15 minutes to play. We'll take a quick look at the bracket here. What's at stake? The winner moves on to the SAC championship match against the winner of our next matchup between number 6 Anderson and number 7 Queens. That game coming up next here around 1:30 Eastern time.
As a player and a coach, you never think beyond the game that you're currently in, but certainly the winner of this match, I think, would feel very comfortable going into that championship match, regardless of who advances in the other semifinals, just based simply on seeding.
Chipped out towards Ander. Still looking to keep up the offensive pressure are the Bulldogs. And 4 now out to Mateo Correa. Correa sends a cross in, and 4 nearly able to turn that one back towards goal, just sends it wide.
That's the third header that he has barely missed, and I'm not faulting him for missing, though. They've been good balls, just a little bit of timing off, but 3 times very, very dangerous. Not the tallest guy in stature, as we mentioned before, but certainly a danger in the air and on the ground.
The 5'7" senior from Yaoundé, Cameroon. Despite playing just 9 games, still a second-team selection in the SAC this season. He joined Elliot Cutts, the leading scorer for the Bulldogs, on the second team. Gaona, Philippe Checo, and Pablo Hara, all first-teamers for Wingate. De Silva, obviously a first-teamer for Lincoln Memorial, with Rezik Williamson and De Jesus on that second team, as well as Victor Perez. And 4 using that body to shield, but has it taken away. Now it's back for Gaona, who tries to play Oscar Perez into space. Now Ander. Ander making his defender dance. John Ander keeps it alive. Di Tommaso got there. And it'll be last touched by Di Tommaso for a Caleb Cothran goal kick.
Great little display of Ander's foot skills there, and able to break down 2 or 3 defenders, almost getting a shot off.
De Silva swarmed by Wingate defenders, similar to what we saw with Elma and 4 down on the other end.
I was going to mention that a minute or two ago. Just for Lincoln Memorial, we're not calling his name enough. In order for them to get into the game, De Silva's got to get on the ball. And full credit to Wingate's defense for being able to nullify that threat right now.
And here's the stat for De Silva. He's scored at least a point in 11 of 16 games. Every match that they've scored in, he's either scored the goal or assisted on one of the goals. So it's get him involved or your offense
stagnated a little bit.
Correct, and that's what we've seen here with 12 minutes to play. Got him involved in the first 5 minutes. Wingate reacted to that, put another defender on him, and he hasn't seen much open space since. The only time he did, he was given a yellow card for simulation. Prado trying to send it into the midfield for Victor Perez. Now it's De Souza, but Fairgrieve the first one there for the Bulldogs.
Fairgrieve's done a nice job in doubling down. Once the entry pass goes into one of the front players for Lincoln Memorial, he's done a nice job of just coming down and sticking a toe in.
And cleared by Vicente Munoz. Let some more time tick down off that clock and make Lincoln Memorial restart their build-up. Six yellow cards given in this match, 5 of them to Lincoln Memorial. And we'll see if the frustration continues to mount with 11 minutes left, if we'll see any more if things don't go their way here shortly. Ander to Di Tommaso, and now Perez. Oscar Perez into the box, and the sophomore just can't cut it inside the post. A great effort by Perez, just couldn't put it on the money.
Just had a flashback to the first half with De Silva very early in the match, going at Yar and getting him on the ground, but pushing it to that right side just outside the post, very similar.
And a great combination here. Di Tommaso just a quick flick out to him. has the right idea, and you see just how close that ball came.
Come on, Wingate! Good, Stu.
Clock's at 10:31.
Oh, we're having a commercial break. Commercial break? Over to our sponsors at Budweiser. Let's go! Let's go!
Substitutions for Lincoln Memorial. Miguel Rice will come back on, the freshman.
How many players, ref? Get him doing one more shuttle, ref.
This little stoppage, actually, I think it favors Wingate, to be honest with you. The back line can talk about things a little bit, make sure you're covering this guy, you've got this guy. And sometimes a pause in play is a good time to really structure what it is you're planning to do to finish this match.
Perez, the header out to Ander. A couple feet in front of DiTomaso and headed back forward by Fairgrieve. Machado nearly has it taken away by Ander, and it will be Wingate ball with 10 minutes left.
Come on, Johnny. Let's go. Go on, big fella. No, not that way. This way. No.
Tomlin to DiTomaso. Defense converges. He finds Correa.
Ref, come on.
And a foul called on Elma in 4.
You are kidding. He's 8 foot taller. Go on, Stuart.
Rezic looking up. Well played by Tomlin.
Not an easy ball to deal with. Tomlin handled that well.
Now Ander will send it up down the wing, and 4 on the run. Has a step on Williamson. And just couldn't keep it on this side of the goal line.
You mentioned earlier N4 having some fitness issues earlier in the year. He's put in a lot of work today. I'm starting to wonder, is there maybe a substitution just in order to get some fresh legs up, run at the defenders and make them work a little bit harder.
Perez will flick it forward, and there is a Wingate sub waiting to come on. We'll see if it will be 4-4 or not. Looks like Nate Evans.
You know, 2 thoughts with that comment. Obviously, fresher legs, run at the defender some, but also if you advance to that next match, you know, save the legs a little bit as well for an important player moving forward.
Ander able to flip it up to himself and clear it forward. Rezic wins the header, and now Perez
It's going to be on Wingate, yeah.
is called for the foul.
As that ball was in the air, Rezic really wasn't looking at the ball. He was kind of looking at man and bumped in.
D'Souza off the head of Perez, and a stoppage and a foul on DiTomaso.
He never touched it! No chance! He's hurt his butt! He never touched it! Hey, 7, back off, man! Go away! Go away! Go away! Go away! Oh, he's a miracle, ref! He's a miracle! He's a miracle!
DiTomaso and Broadley having a discussion here.
What you considered from 50 yards, you goose! Ref 11's fine already, look, magic!
Yeah, it seems there will be no booking here.
His bum, he feels great. Give him a massage 5. Give his butt a rub. Why can't we have a penalty there?
And now
Oh.
Rezic trying to sneak a quick one back in there, but the whistle has not been given to continue play.
Hey! 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 Yeah! Woo! He did that deliberately!
DiTomaso comes flying up, and it's played off his body. And this match really starting to kind of get away from Kevin Broadley. .720 remaining here between the number 1 seeded Wingate Bulldogs and the number 4 seeded Lincoln Memorial Rail Splitters here in this SAC tournament semifinal, the first of 4 matches in Rock Hill here today. And 4 giving chase, gets past Williamson, and 4 tries to bend one towards the far post, and it keeps bending just wide.
That area 2 to 3 yards wide of the right post has certainly been a popular spot this match. I like the idea to hit this on the half volley as well. Good effort.
DiTomaso will check off. Nate Evans will come on for Wingate with 6:35 remaining. Winner will go on to face the winner of our second match, the 6-7 game between Anderson and Queens in the South Atlantic Conference Championship game on Sunday. Wingate trying to get back there after they won it in 2015. Fell in the quarterfinals a year ago. Lincoln Memorial trying to return to avenge their loss in the conference championship match a year ago, and are looking for their first conference championship win since 2007. John Anders' goal in the 73rd gave Wingate the lead after Elma and Ford drew the penalty on Ronaldo De Jesus inside the box.
Come on, John. Last 5. Let's go for it. Big one.
And other than that, we haven't seen a ton of offense here in the second half, especially from the Lincoln Memorial side.
Yeah, definitely the halftime break. It seems that Wingate has established a game plan that has been very effective. And again, I've said this before, but Lincoln Memorial just lacking a little bit of the quality in order to find De Souza up top, or De Silva, excuse me.
Now here comes Miguel Rice, flying past a couple of defenders. Rice goes down, no whistle.
You are rubbish. Let's go. Stu, move.
Now Evans to the outside, and now through ball to Nate Evans, one-on-one with Christoph Williamson. Now he's got a couple of options, plays for Hendry. Now back for Ander. Feints one way, finds Hendry. And Hendry's cross can't find a hole in the Lincoln Memorial defense.
He was touching me. What do you think I should do?
And we'll get a stoppage here as Machado and Broadley will have a conversation.
Simple.
You know, I was definitely very confused to see which way that call was going to go. Take a look at it. Ooh. And it's a shame that goes unseen, and certainly one of the assistant referees might have been able to catch that as well, but obviously not the benefit of replay that we have.
Cawthron will boot it long. It's off the head of Xenofontos. And last touch by Wingate, it'll stay with LMU in the attacking third. Can they put something together here with 4 minutes remaining, trailing by a goal? Williamson. The lob through to the left wing. Still kept alive. The cross comes in off the chest of Gauna, and he says bombs away, and he'll send it across midfield.
Defensively here, Wingate has to be careful because they certainly want to sit back and defend balls over the top such as this, but you don't want to sit back too far that you get people, Lincoln Memorial players, to be able to pick their head up and find the next pass.
Machado throws into Rezic, 3.5 remaining, trailing by a goal. Clipped forward by De Souza. Prado, the offside flag is up. And LMU LMU goes offside for the 6th time today.
And the benefit of that offside for Wingate is you can milk the clock 20, 30 seconds maybe until the referee really says, okay, let's play, boys.
Come on, Wingate! Let's go! Tuck in!
And Hara will send it long, angling towards the box. Evans gets ahead on it. Gets right back up to go fight for it again. Now 2:40 to go. LMU throw-in with 2.5 remaining. Towards the top of the box, popped up in the air. Going back towards midfield, Williamson boots it back forward and a clearance by Wingate. Continuing to tick time down off this clock. Now 2 minutes to go here in regulation. A 1-goal Wingate lead. Perez. Now Nate Evans puts it forward for John Ander. John Ander one-on-one with Cothran. Ander dekes past him, and Ander puts the icing on the cake here for the Wingate Bulldogs. His 2nd goal of the day.
As I said, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes ago, when you press forward, you're going to expose yourself in the back a little bit. Wingate doing an excellent job of just capitalizing in really a 2v2 type of situation.
And Gary Hamill's squad getting ready here with a 2-goal lead in 1:45 to play to move on towards another SAC championship. Evans will pick up his first assist of the year. Great job by Ander to wait back and stay on side. And then this is where the skill takes over.
Yeah, player of his quality, that's easy pickings right there.
Now it's really go time for LMU with 1:35 remaining. And another offside called.
In some ways you feel sad for Cothran for Lincoln Memorial. He's had a good game. Unfortunately, 2 goals, neither of which he could do anything about. But overall, especially in the first half, I felt like he had a very strong match.
Goals in the 73rd and the 89th from John Ander. Have put the Bulldogs up by a pair of goals here in the SAC semifinal.
1 minute remaining.
With 1 minute left to play. The regular season champs, the #1 seed in this SAC tournament, the Wingate Bulldogs, looking to advance back to the championship game again for the first time since 2015. 30 seconds to play. Here comes in 4. Tries to play it through for Evans. Nate Evans! And that one somehow saved before it crosses.
No, it's given.
No.
That's a goal.
And the assistant referee threw the flag up on the far side. Nate Evans will pick up his first goal of the year with 19 seconds remaining. Nearly miraculously saved. But across the goal line it went. And Wingate now has put this one away.
And how about that for coaching experience? Coach Hamill over there, I thought for sure was bringing Evans on for N4 and doesn't. Drops N4 back, and Evans goes on and gets his first couple points of the year. Good for him.
And Caleb Cothran's great start has turned sour very quickly. As Wingate now just 15 seconds away from an appearance in the South Atlantic Conference Tournament Championship match. And that is where they will go. #13th win of the season for Gary Hamill and the Bulldogs. And they'll go back to another South Atlantic Conference Tournament Championship match on Sunday against the winner of our next game between Queens and Anderson.
Wingate a deserving victor there. You know, maybe aside from the first 10, 15 minutes of the match, the other 75 or 80 minutes certainly in their favor.
72 minutes went by, no score. Then the penalty kick from Ander sparks things, and then 2 late goals in the 89th and the 90th by John Ander and Nate Evans put this one away for the Wingate Bulldogs as they take it by a final score of 3-0 over the 4th-seeded Lincoln Memorial Rail Splitters, their second win over LMU this season.
The trick here is now to rest up, recover, rehydrate, get some food, and get your mind set now for Sunday.
John Ander on your screen there with 2 goals to lead the charge for the Wingate Bulldogs. As we get set to look at the bracket here, as we move on to our second semifinal here in about a half hour. Another great matchup coming up, in a surprising matchup between the Queens Royals and the Anderson Trojans. The 6th seed versus the 7th seed in the SAC tournament. And there you see the bracket with the victory. Wingate will move on. Back-to-back 3-0 wins here in the SAC tournament for Wingate. LMU, after a 3-1 victory, falls. And we'll see who Wingate will play in the championship round on Sunday, whether it be the Anderson Trojans, the 6th seed, or the Queens Royals, your 7th seed. So Wingate takes this first semifinal of the day. A final score of 3-0. John Ander and the Bulldogs will head to the South Atlantic Conference Tournament Championship match on Sunday with the victory here in semifinal number 1. We'll step away on the SAC Digital Network. Semifinal number 2 coming up between Queens and Anderson.